Hello, welcome. It is Monday, August 17th, 2020, and this is the SOS show with James Lott Jr. I am James Lott Jr., super organizer. Welcome back. I'm so glad to be with you guys again today. We are halfway through August. I don't know what's going on, but we're getting through it somehow. And the summer is just halfway through the summer. We're like really doing this. I'm really glad to be on here with you guys today. I have a great guest, of course, who's been on many times before, and she's my soul sister, I always call her. A Clear Path to Company. She's the author of several books, including the latest being a contributor to the #1 selling on Amazon, One Habit for a Thriving Home Office. And you see, I'm in my home office, she's in hers, and her own books and stuff. And she's working on a book for the One Habit series called Chronic Disorganization. We'll talk about all of that and see how she's doing. My friend, Dr. Regina Lark. Hello.
Hello, Mr. James M. Lott Jr. You know, you shouldn't have said soul sister because you know what I'm about to sing.
Oh my God, do it.
Hey, sister girl. All right.
I love it. We did it. See, this show, I'm not all.
Sing, you can dance.
You can dance with everyone on the show. So thank you so much. So before we start talking, I always do my thanks and gratitude. And I have to this week especially because I want to give a shout out to 3 important folks that were in my life that left me this almost this date 3 or 4 years ago. My brother Max, my grandmother Susie, and my dog Scrabble. I carry them with me everywhere. I think about them all the time. I miss them very, very much. They are with me, and I just want to give a shout out to them and dedicate this show to the 3 of them because they were tickled pink that I had a show like this.
Nice.
So I give a shout out to them. You should always give thanks and gratitude, and I do all the time.
Yes. And speaking of family love, how's your mama?
And my mother, you guys, okay, everyone who's watching and listening to this, who's given me such support, thank you. My mother is strong. As many of you know, she looks just like me, or I look just like her, one of 2, my twin. I said to her the other day, I go, I'm going to put eyes on you. She goes, don't put eyes on me. I go, my eyes are your eyes. My eyebrows are your eyebrows. My nose is your nose. So for folks who, thanks for asking, she is doing fine. My crusade now is to tell body breast cancer. She has stage 1, and right now waiting for pathology to get back to us. She had a lumpectomy, and she survived that like a boss. Like she's not even taking any pain medication afterwards. She's like that strong, her stuff hurts. But our thing is, get your mammograms. It's how she found out. Routine mammogram that she was told to always come in and get. They're uncomfortable. They're all this stuff, but she got them, and they found it early enough.
Wow.
So I'm telling everybody who's listening, that's the big lesson we're talking about with mammograms. And for men, check those balls. Testicular cancer is a big thing also.
Yeah.
If you feel anything strange or don't feel anything, still check. But when they say about it, it's just very, very important. So we're very happy that it's stage 1, and keep her in your prayers that we don't need radiation or anything like that. We're just waiting to hear back from them. But she's a queen. She worked it out. She's like, I'm still here. She got my nerves the other day, so I know she's fine.
Okay, good. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, thanks for the update.
Yeah, so everybody, so please, women, get yourself checked always. It's very, very important. That's any age. Just make sure you listen to your body. And now I'm so happy to have Regina, because Regina is somebody who does many things, of course. And we had Debbie Rosemont on last week, which we love very much. And so now Regina's part of the same One Habit family right now. And she did contribute to the One Habit for Thriving Home Office. So I want to ask you, just from that book, kind of briefly, how was that for you, contributing that book, that topic?
Thanks for asking, James. One Habit for a Thriving Home Office is co-authored by Debbie Rosemont, who you heard last week. And she gathered together 70 contributors, and each of us wrote a habit that, so to contribute, you write one habit that you may want to take on, and you write one habit that you may want to lose. So for example, for a thriving home office, the one habit I think people should consider or may want to consider, I got to quit saying should. The one habit I think you may want to consider is to continue your education, because knowledge is power, but what you do with the knowledge will empower you. And what you take with you out of a certification or a specialist certificate or a degree, then you can do anything you want with the outcome of that in terms of uplifting and elevating yourself and your industry and your market and your community. So a habit to take on, I think, for a thriving home office is to advance or continue your education. The habit that I would recommend that people shed is to stop buying office supplies. I mean, come on. What do you need?
I
need a pen.
Right.
Sometimes I use a stapler. Every now and again, I need a piece of tape, but
I reused my Taurus cup. It's a Taurus.
Okay. And I have my Ellen DeGeneres cup.
So I was saying, I'm like you. I don't need to buy a special thing for my pens and my thing. Like I have a cup that I can use.
And I use the 2x2 Post-its and the smaller ones.
But right here.
I know. But we go into people's homes all the time, and whether there's room or not, there is a very curious Uber acquiring of every kind of office supply known to humankind. And most of the office supplies that I see in the average household, everybody will have deceased by the time they use as many paper clips, staples, boxes of staples.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, you're right.
Big paper clips, binder clips.
Yes.
It's quite overwhelming.
Yes.
So now here we have 70 contributors to the One Habit for a Thriving Home Office. It's big. Yeah. And Debbie put this book together with what I call the One Habit guy, Steve Sambliss.
Hello, Steve.
And Steve is this awesome entrepreneur whom I met in February when I responded to his email to contribute to Thriving Home Office. And I said, I would love to contribute to that. I said, but I would love to see a book on One Habit for Chronic Disorganization. And think about it. For those of us who are chronically disorganized or work with chronically disorganized people, chronically disorganized people tend to have a lot of how to get organized books on their bookshelf. And the books, most organizer books that I've read are written for folks who are more of my brain type. I'm very linear in my thinking. I would be called left brain if we were doing that kind of bifurcation. But and I think, wow, what if the chronically disorganized can have one book, open it up to any page, and read a 300-word essay about a habit that they may want to take on or a habit they may want to take off. And it's in these nuggets. It's in the snapshot. There's no sequencing in terms of start here and end here. Start with this chapter, and this chapter is going to build to this chapter. There's no buildup. It's one thing. And so for the Thriving Home Office, you submit a 300-word essay for a habit to take on, a 300-word essay for a habit to take off. You pay $250 to pre-purchase 10 books that will be mailed. So I got my 10 books on July 28th.
Yes. And
on July 31st, we had our day-long launch. And we were on Facebook, and people were posting their books, and the goal, now if we weren't in quarantine, I would have had a party at a park just to give out my books. Now I'm going around LA
You have
Oh, if you would let me come over to your place, James, I can bring you a One Habit book.
Yeah, let's do it. Well,
That would be fun. We'll do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that.
And so the same's going to happen with One Habit for Chronic Disorganization. One does not have to be a professional organizer. You can be in any field. You can be a chronically disorganized person. And if you figured some stuff out, I would love your contribution. We have had our first 2 international contributions. So right now I've got 12 contributors. I'm looking for 40 more. And the deadline is mid-November. And Steve Sambliss, the One Habit guy, I cannot tell you enough how organized he is.
I like that.
In terms of how he has created the formula to crank these books out and make them all bestsellers. The Thriving Home Office is his 5th bestseller. My goal is for Chronic Disorganization to be the 6th. And so, yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. I just have such a heart for the idea that a chronically disorganized person can open the book and take on a habit.
Well, the thing is,
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say is that, just to piggyback off of this a little for folks that are watching or listening, it's funny. So when I was, like I said on the last show, full disclosure, I was asked by Debbie Rosemont. I was asked by Regina Lark. As you guys know, I'm writing 10 other things right now. I don't even have the time. I don't even know how I live at the time. But I believe it. But I went and did research on the One Habit series and its mission, and I love it. It is such a smart, hope-filled series to me. That's how I look at it as. Like, each of these topics, right, each of these subjects, it gives you hope. Like, you don't have to read it from beginning to end. It's like, it's right, almost like just, you pick it up and you find a chapter and you just go, okay, I'm just going to read somebody's idea, what they think. Right. And it may work for you. If it doesn't, there's 70 more people you can go to somebody else and go to another chapter. Yeah. That's why I love this whole concept. It's genius to me. It's genius. Yeah. It's genius. And so I think people need to understand, if you want to be a contributor, again, you become a published author. If you have never been an author before, at least you have to be published. Best-selling
published author.
Right. So it'll be in there. She'll be in there.
Published author, yeah.
You know. Also, it gives you a networking exposure with the others in the book and with Regina. These are folks you want to know, trust, and believe. You want to know them. And that it gives you more networking, and actually helps increase your visibility. I mean, and Regina knows I'm all about visibility. I'm all about networking. So I'm like, that is something that I think for many of us who are on our own, doing our own things in our own little satellite worlds, this is kind of one way to come together and like be in something. Because I'm in another book, it's a celebrity book that we came out called Success Factor X that came out last year. And I'm one of like 30, I'm on page 1. That's what that is. But I'm best friends with the author who put it together. But that was a fun thing. We actually had a get together at Barnes and Noble. We would all be there together. And it was kind of fun. But it's like, but the whole point was, even without that, people were like, oh, well, who's the James Lott Jr. person? Who's this person? Who's that person? They may check you out after they read your chapter.
Right.
That's another thing too, right, Regina? Well,
and it honestly, it establishes you in writing as a subject matter expert.
Yes.
And I had I've self-published a couple of books.
You have.
One was strictly personal, and it was called Before the Big O. Professional Organizers Talk About Life Before Organizing. And I just thought it was fun. And I really would like to do another one because we all have such great stories. What did you do before this? Everybody says something.
Oh, yeah.
So Before the Big O was just a selfish undertaking. But then I published Psychic Debris, Crowded Closets. And the reason why I had to have a book was because I was working toward being a professional speaker. And I know that as a professional speaker, I needed to have a book. And so I was very intent, and that, strategically speaking and thinking, that was part of how I was going to get there as a speaker. And so I needed the book. I got the book. Now I have the Speaking of Clutter website. I'm a professional member of the National Speakers Association. And the book was my business card, my calling card for speaking, published author. It matters not, in my view and in my experience, that this was published on Amazon Direct.
Right.
I always sell books when I'm out speaking. Do you know what I mean? But I saw it as a calling card for a wider audience.
Very good point.
And so,
very good point.
The One Habit book, you know, I was never out to be a bestseller.
Right.
I just wasn't. I needed a calling card. And seriously, that was why I did that. It sells well when I speak. I hear lovely feedback on how it's helped, and I appreciate that, but I want to be on stage speaking. And so once you become part of the One Habit series, you have that too. Now you have that calling card. You have that cachet. If you want to be recognized for having a body of knowledge, then this is one way to make that happen.
It's funny. One of my Hollywood mentors, who's been in business for 30 years, said the same thing to me 5 years ago. Told me, product. If you want to be a speaker, or want to do workshops, you want to be a teacher trainer or a trainer. They said product is very important, and they said books are the number one thing. I mean, seriously, they are like the number one business card to get engagements, and it does. I mean, and I know for some people they're like, well, there is. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. There's some things that do give you a leg up in getting hired. That's just how it is out there, folks. Not saying you can't do without a book. Not saying you can't,
and that's the other part of it. You know, everything is possible. You can do it without a book. You can have a book and not get any speaking gigs. I mean, it's how you work it. You know?
Yes, exactly. And for me, I got lots of things I could pull out. I mean, that's kind of how I, and you too. And I think that's kind of what I mean. I don't, again, like you, I don't do them for certain things, but I do them for certain things. I mean, it's like I do because I love doing stuff. I love writing. I love music. I love all this stuff. But if it does help me get in somewhere and get paid a rate that I charge,
right,
and have a great experience and then network some more for you guys out there, this could be another entryway for you or another stepping stone to get you closer to where you want to go and that kind of thing. If you want to go, I think it's a very credible thing you're saying. It's just credible. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, if you don't like, but that's kind of how it is.
Yeah,
it does help. I mean, it does help a lot, and I think being part of a series that's well respected,
right,
and well received.
Yeah, and that's another point. Now there's this pretty impressive track record. This guy's got 6 bestsellers under his name. That ain't nothing. And again, it's great marketing. It's he's it's all about positioning your product. It's a numbers game. I get that.
And his concept is so simplistic in a way, and thoughts, and concept, but it's brilliant.
Right. Well, the Before the Big O book includes 13 organizers. And these were just women I met early on. I think I started my business in 2008. Before the Big O came out in 2013. And we just had like a template to fill out. And tell your story, write your bio, add your picture. And then my best friend was the editor on it, and we published it through. So she organized the whole thing and edited it, and it was just a fun thing to have.
I love it. I'm part of a book I think coming out called "You Can Overcome Anything," and I contributed that one, and I contributed like 6 months ago, but now it's going to finally come out. these books, I think, work towards the short attention span, folks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's just
Yeah.
nowadays, you got to think about that. I'm a producer. That's all I'm thinking about. I mean, anything I put out nowadays is short attention span. It also takes away the overwhelmedness. I don't know if that's a word, but it's just being overwhelmed by books, by certain books. Like, you can get this book and go, okay, I don't have to read from beginning to end. I have a lot of choices in this book. Also, maybe people you may know. I mean, maybe there may be authors, contributors. You're like,
Right.
oh, I know that person, oh, I know that person, and you could see what they're talking about and learn more about them and their process. And speaking of process, I want to find out. So, if someone's like watching this or listening, and goes, "Well, I want to do that."
Yeah.
What is the process?
The process is sending me an email, regina@aclearpath.net, and I will send you a link to the One Habit for Chronic Disorganization. It's specific to that page, and then you fill everything out. You just spend the whole process takes about an hour. It's, you know, a 300 to 400 word essay on a habit that you may want to take on, and a 300 or 400 word essay on a habit that you may want to shed, unhabit, one habit, one unhabit, and a 300 word bio and a nice headshot. And you just fill these things out in this form as you go along. And you write the habit, and then what's the wisdom behind it? Why are you suggesting it? The other question I get asked a lot is, what if you have duplicates? And well, you can't, because we may have very different ideas about why education is important, or we may have very different ideas about why something else to say about office supplies. When I wrote my contribution to the CD book, the Chronic Disorganization book, the habit to take on is to, don't bring anything home until it has a home, until you know where it's going to live. Everything in your home needs a home. The unhabit is kind of a habit, actually. I probably broke the rules.
Well, you're Regina. Of course you
The
did.
unhabit is to, I'll say this, is to don't procrastinate gathering up things to donate. So I call that, this other habit, clear just 10, then do it again. So 10 things a day, that's all. 10 things a day. Put it in a bag or a box or a bucket, and then at the end of that day, understand its exit strategy. You're going to put it in the car, you're going to get it over to Goodwill, whatever the exit strategy is. So it's a habit, something that you may want to take on. Clear just 10, then do it again. Everything in your home needs a home. And then as you're going through this template at the CD site, so you put your habit on, habit off bio, you're going to be asked to pay $250. And that $250 is put into an account that Steve manages. I paid my $250 in April, forgot about it, and I had 10 books delivered at the end of July. Debbie really hustled this book.
I know she did.
Yeah, really, really did. And that she got 70 people to contribute. I give her gold stars. I think that was great. And then we get Steve and I get notification that you made the submission. It's acknowledged. We do a little bit of editing initially, and then you can see how it lays on the page. So it's kind of an instant gratification thing.
Yeah,
and this is what your book is going to look like on this page. So it's a very simple process. Again, Sam Bliss has it dialed in.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
I guess, like I said, it's just like this really simple concept that's just amazing. It's an amazing concept. It's like, that's, I mean, like, Why do we think about it? You know, I mean, it's so funny. Someone thought of that, and it makes sense,
Right.
and it's so useful. It's so useful for everybody, and
Right.
it's user friendly.
Yeah, it's user friendly, and there's just a lot of good outcomes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's you know, I'm somebody that can make something out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know you can. I know you
It's
can.
that what's the return on the investment? Whatever you want,
Right.
whatever you want.
Right.
You know, you can market it however you want,
That's
or
true.
make your mama proud.
I know. That's true. That's true. I mean, it's just true. I mean, it's this whole thing is like it's a great concept. I just
Yeah.
love it. It's a great concept. And anybody out there crossing this disorganized, he said any field. She's saying any field. Doesn't matter. It could be any field, just an organizer, but any field. But if you're an organizer who works in that, please think about this and and contribute. I mean, and this is a great thing. And then you get some books you can pass out to people, and
Yeah.
or take them to a seminar or something or whatever, give them away or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's a great.
And he's got it on Amazon. It's going to go into Audible. He's got it on several platforms. I mean, it's a trip. I really stand behind the product.
Yeah, which is great though, because you were part of it. So yeah, that's very good. You can stand by it. But no, I know it is. It's a fascinating concept, and I just think
I have to stop you. I'm trying to read your shirt.
Oh,
and I don't know whether to read it right to left or left to right. Oh, got it. Be kind. Okay.
Right. It's sign language and it's brown.
Got it. I love that shirt.
My mother gave it to me actually, so it's very strategic. I mean, I know you get the meaning, so. And
yeah. Well, now I can see. I know. I was trying to read it from the D on over because I was.
Yes, but I love this. It's in sign language, and I love it. The brown hands and the traditional little bracelets, and that's why.
Yes.
Wearing it, of course, very important for diversity and culture. But yeah, no, I think it's a great concept, and of course, you're part of this because you're wonderful and amazing, and you're an amazing speaker, folks. She's a great speaker, everything. So I just, I'm behind you 1,000%. You know that. I'm just always behind you 1,000%.
Yes, and we've got NAPO coming to Southern California in April.
Yes, we do. That's
First cross. That's exciting.
I know. Oh, I know. Come on, LA, pull it together, folks.
Yeah. NAPO's coming to our hood.
They are, but we need LA to pull it together so we can actually
Let's
have
just
them
stamp
here.
down that virus.
Wear a goddamn mask. I'm sorry. I don't care how it sounds. I feel it completely.
How do you really feel about it, Lott?
Oh, I'm just like, come on, people. Wear a mask. Just wear it. Wash your hands. Wear it. Have compassion. Those are things I'm always telling people. Come on, folks. So we can have them here in our backyards. I'm very, very excited. And, we
can do a Queen Mary tour.
I haven't been to Queen Mary in so long.
I've been to Queen Mary's, but not on the Queen.
Right, I've been a Queen Mary, but that's another story. But no, I'm glad that it's coming back to Southern California because my first conference 6 years ago was Los Angeles. Yeah. So I loved it. And I thought it was nice having our backyard, and we always have great weather and everything. It's like, hello, we're in LA, we're in California. So we're hoping it does. And I know, and everybody out there, I know you guys are all trying to figure stuff out. This thing is going a little longer than we thought it was going to. So my heart, I know you feel the same way. My heart goes out to all the organizers out there trying to figure this out.
Yeah. Speaking of organizer, you're going to be organizing, doing some hands-on work.
Yes, folks. I'm getting tested in a few days. I'm gonna go out there and do some organizing work. I haven't done it in a while. It's been 5 months. I haven't done any hands-on organizing, and I'm very excited because I at the base of everything, Regina, I'm an organizer. I always feel like everything else I do, it all goes back to being organized. So like, wow, how you produce shows? I'm like, I'm an organizer. How you get an organizer? Like everything I do, Regina, outside of this, back to organize. So it always kind of strengthens my message to my clients.
Right.
That anything you do, it all begins and ends with organization and productivity, and just kind of like and not time management, just management of everything. I mean, it's completely. So my stuff is all that. So, but to go back and do some actual organizing, I'm very excited. I'm very giddy. Like I'm really giddy about it, Regina. I can go back on this. I love my clients. A lot of you guys out there know this. When you have clients that are wonderful, You haven't seen them. They're like, some of them are like, I haven't seen them in 4 months, 5 months. I'm very excited to see that. But I've been checking in with them every month, and that's how this job came up. I have another job possibility too next week. But it was like, I check on them. I was like, how you doing? What's going on? I refer to people if they need some help immediately. I couldn't be out there right away, so I had to quarantine. So now that I'm doing a little better, I'm like, okay, we're gonna see how this goes. I'm giddily excited, if that's a word.
Are you? Can I interview you with another question?
Yeah, I love it. Oh, sure, it's my show.
What are your thoughts about where we are as a country, as a community, in terms of Black Lives Matter and in terms of diversity and inclusion, and do you think there's still the spark, or what are your thoughts?
Good question. I think a really good question. I think that this movement, and you and I talked this off mic, we've talked about this off camera. I feel there's a difference this time. And even though it's kind of, the loudness has calmed down, it's kind of settled, it's still happening. The attention is still out there. And because I do work in Hollywood, and I'm seeing changes in Hollywood, in casting news, in behind the scenes news. I'm really starting to see it. And also I've gotten more job opportunities, which some I may take, some I may not. And I'm like, oh, I know it's because I'm Black. I just know it is. They're looking in this direction. But it seems to be changing there little by little. They're green lighting projects that probably would have gotten greenlit if this hadn't happened. So to me, I'll take it. I know it's controversial for some people, like, well, that's just, I'm like, no, I don't care. I'll take it.
Right.
So let those talented people of color, and Black folks specifically, get a chance to work. That's, to me, it's all I care about. Give them a chance to work. That's good. But the rest of the country, it's odd for me because I'm 51. I've been around a long time. I have seen the different movements over the years. And so a lot of stuff that's being posted and said, I'm not shocked by, because I'm like, it's just kind of, we've been around for a while. You've seen it. And all the videos they're putting out there, all these things, I'm like, I'm not, again, I don't think it's more. It's just that we got cameras now, like they're being released. But people's tolerance has changed, I believe. I believe a lot of Black folks, the way I can say it, are tired of being tolerated. I'm tired of being tolerated. We're almost demanding that you stop doing that. Just what women did with the Me Too movement. It's kind of just like, we're done with this kind of like, okay, chick, go sit down. Whatever. It's like, we don't do chick anymore. You don't do that. And with Black folks, it's not telling Black folks, stop being so aggressive. We're done. We're going to be aggressive until something changes. That's what it feels. That's the difference it feels right now.
Right.
My hope is, I don't want to be this old jaded guy, but I'm trying to hope that it will, real change will happen. I won't know that until after November. And then by November 3rd, 4th, I will know if there's hope in the world. That's kind of how I'm kind of sitting here with this. It's just, there's so many things up in the air still, especially with the Black Lives and everything. And I'm urging, and this may be controversial too, I'm urging Black folks to really come together and not rely on white folks so much. Like, let's get together and really try to figure out our communities. Like, really, come together and try to really work this out in the language we are used to, the language we know, and the way we do things. Every culture does things a little differently. But we'll get to the big stuff, and but I have a hard time believing that certain folks are going to give up power that easily. They're going to go down fighting. Now, I'm sure you agree with that whole also too, right? I'm sure.
Did you read the, so Nicole Hannah-Jones wrote an essay that appeared, I believe, in the New York Times in December of 2019. And it was the essay for the 1619 Project. And she just won the Pulitzer for essay writing. And James, if you haven't read it yet, it's stunning, because she does this incredible narrative of a historical timeline, the likes of which I hadn't read. And one of my big takeaways, smack head, roll eyes, she says, Black people in America have been enslaved longer than they've been free. Bam.
I completely agree with that.
No words.
Right. Right.
And 1,000 words.
Right. At both. Right. Oh, I agree with that.
So I really encourage this essay.
I'm gonna read it.
It's a primer, but it's also, you know, what you said about community. She writes about Greenwood, right? Rosewood, Roseville, and the desire to create community that frustrated the whites in the surrounding community, angered them to no end. So I you know, I'm Regina Know-It-All Smarty Pants. I always think I know everything. Not true. Why?
You don't think that. Yeah, I know you like to learn, but no, that's the thing. And I think for me, it's very much of, I've done, as you know, I've done many talks on this. I've done the last couple of months, I've done many things.
I know.
And to varying degrees of reaction, let's say that.
Yeah.
Reaction, from horrific and death threats to wonderment and thank you. I've had everything. I've had everything. But my resolve is the same. It's just that it needs to be continued to be talked about. Women's issues, LGBTQIA issues, you know, including the trans, especially trans stuff. You know, Black issues, brown issues, but it needs. I mean, female issues. It needs to all be talked about. We are Americans. You and I are Americans. We are. It's America's problem. I keep saying that on every show I go on. This is not just a Black problem or a woman problem. It's America's problem. Once we can get that concept together, then maybe change can really, effective change can really happen.
Yeah.
That's to remember.
One of the other takeaways for me for this essay, she said that the founders of this country knew that when they were writing these documents that they were not including all people. And so Black Americans, after the Civil War, are going to live the hope of democracy. They're going to believe in the rhetoric of freedom and democracy, but they're going to live the outcome of the lie. They're going to live. They're going to experience what the meaning of the lie. Do you know what I mean? Am I explaining that?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You know, and that's, I agree with that. But also, I'm going to add to the other side of it. That lie, in some ways, is being exposed to white Americans too.
Yes,
now. Now, because we were raised with that, you know, revisionist history that we're fighting was revisionist history.
Right.
So a lot of white folks are like, no, what are you talking about? What? Like, what? Right. And I get it. I mean, I get it. I get where they're like kind of confused and like, well, no, but we were told that they were happily to, you know, they came here and they traded beads for New York. I mean, like, they really started, they really bought into what was fed to them and fed to us. And so now it's kind of like, you're trying to tell me my whole life was a lie, so to speak.
Yes.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
That's a trip. And I totally get it. I see why they're fighting that premise. Like, no, you know, we did this for this reason. No one was cussed on my first. It didn't happen that way. It's for this. And so to kind of accept that, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Sure.
And to say that, wow, that Blacks really aren't treated the same way. They're not? Really? And then you find out they really aren't. That's a hard pill to swallow too. It's kind of like, no. I mean, almost everybody agrees that women aren't treated the same as men. I have male privilege. I think everybody, no matter what color I am, I have male privilege. You and I walk into a room, they would not say certain things that they would say to you
Right.
in certain places. And I think we all agree with that. But when it comes to color, though, it's kind of like, are we all the same? And and the Cleveland Indians, the Wahoo was just like this homage to the Indians. We don't care if the Indians don't like it, but that was our intention. I mean, trust me, I've been in Cleveland with my family many times. I described that to them. But it's like, but that's the lie they're trying. It's being unmasked. So
Yeah.
it's like, I have to believe that if I believe this, then what else is out there? And then what does that mean for me? And what does that mean for the way I look, if people look like me? That must be a trip. Where Black folks, brown folks, gay folks, we all know the lie. We've been knowing all these lies for years, and we're trying to tell you the lies. But that's why I'm so passionate about, gay rights and Black rights. And because I'm just like, it all needs to crumble at this point. It needs to just disseminate and become this thing where we really are created equal. We are living equally. I mean, it's not just this notion of like unicorns leaping in the fields and exactly. But to me, it's a really true fact that needs to happen in America, especially. That we need to all just be kind, so to speak, and everybody live their lives and just like and not have bias for certain things.
Well, everybody living their lives. So, I've been reading one of the big differences of the United States versus other industrial countries and how we reacted to the virus is that the United States, maintains this stronghold in rugged individualism. And that was, that's how Herbert Hoover got us through the Depression, not rugged individualism. And so we have this, so this idea of living our lives is one thing, I think, but I also think of it as community and as, not necessarily kumbaya, but kumbaya.
Right. I understand.
As community, as that we're living our lives as though we believe we are one community.
But I think, Regina, I'm going to almost agree with you, but also disagree with you kind of. I think for a lot of people who are like me, who are Black, we just want to live our lives. That is first. Community almost is kind of second. It's almost just like we can't even be in our homes safe.
Yeah.
We're being killed in our houses. Yes. I can't even park in my front yard without the cops going, do you live here? Like, It's like the community thing is very important. I'm with them. For me, the base level is just like, I just want to live my goddamn life. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. I want to be able to pay my taxes, live in my house, buy toilet paper, watch pay-per-view. Like this thing, just base level things.
Right.
That I think I've talked to a lot of other Black men that we talk all the time. We're just like, I just want to live my life. The community thing, I want that, of course. I'm always like pushing for that. But I think the base level for some of us is just, I just want to live my life.
Yeah.
That's all. Everything else is like icing on the cake, so to speak.
Free of harassment.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Free of fear of harassment. That's what I would almost change that into. Because when I leave my yard, I'm every single time, especially now, I am on the look.
Right.
Always. I pick a topic, gay, Black, pick anything. I'm on the look always, wherever I'm at. I want to eradicate that for myself and for others.
Yes.
I want you to be able to feel safe. I want me to be able to feel. That's kind of where the baseline for me is, and I'm going to tie this into organizing really quick because I'm glad you brought this up because I did go through a lot the last couple months to organize community, as you know. And I think and I want to thank all the folks who gave me such support. I mean, a lot of NAPO folks who gave me such support. Thank you so much, personally and professionally. But I think we have to remember this is a people industry, and we're in people's homes, we're in their businesses, we're intimately with them in terms of touching their stuff and helping them with their emotions and systems. And that's why Black Lives Matter is important. And I know that this industry was not started by Black people, and it was started by women. And so if you're not Black or if you're not a woman or white or certain things, I got a lot of hate towards me. And I think we have to evolve and remember that time changes because you guys did a great job with this industry. It's attracted people who want to be in the industry of all walks of life. And that's very important to remember. It's like, it may have started this one way, and Regina, I'm sure you've heard this phrase all the time, but we've always just done it this way. It's always been done this way. Like, you have to learn and evolve, like you said, education, grow, change language.
I've heard that. I've always felt that the trope, this is the way we've always done it. I think that is death to an organization. It's
I agree. I totally
I
agree.
heard this quote the other day: our world has changed, but the systems and institutions have not.
Ooh, that's so true. So true.
So much outside of us in rapid fire and rapid motion is changing, and but
people get so bothered by
stuff
change.
going on in the home.
Right.
Studies. I was very curious when the quarantine happened, and I knew that families were all going to be at home, crowded or spread apart in the home. But I was thinking, wow, how cool is this? The invisible labor of the home is going to be made visible to those who don't do it.
No, that's, oh my gosh, so good, Regina.
And it turns out that it's not true. The studies are coming out slowly that in traditional households, straight husbands and fathers aren't picking up the household labor slack. They're not partnering, they're not owning it. They're maybe picking up more childcare.
Okay.
But a recent study just showed that women who are working from home as paid employees, they are cutting back their paid hours in favor of taking up all the extra work at home, the unpaid work, the invisible work. The study said that if a husband worked 40 hours a week before the shutdown, he's probably doing about that amount during the shutdown. But women's waged work, they are cutting back their hours. I mean, that's a whole other show. Don't get me started.
Yeah,
well, I already got started, but I know we're out of time here, but I just, again, the world has changed, but the institutions and systems that we've had have not.
And
aren't keeping up with the change.
Right. And I will praise our NAPO presidents, past and present, for being open to the changes. And that's something that I've had all of them on my show. I've had all of them on my show. Right. That's 6, 7. That's 6, 7 on the show. And I love that they are open to, and they've been, again, supportive of me, and they're supportive of you and things like that. But I love that that's the point, is that we can't stay stale. We just can't. Right. It just doesn't, or static. It doesn't serve a purpose for anyone. Our community, yourselves, your business, our association, it doesn't serve a purpose. You have to bend and move and mold and change with the times. And you could do it, I mean, you don't have to do everything all at once either, but just like there has to be movement and an open and willingness to actually let it in and then implement it into certain systems. I think it's just kind of, and so far, I've seen some great stuff. I've seen some great things coming out of NAPO especially, and I'm part of another couple of organizations, and they're doing the same thing. They're really open to it, and they're like, let's talk about this. Let's get it out. Let's talk. Let's put some things in place. And I think that's where real change is going to happen. I'm trying to stay hopeful. I am. I guess that's the ending of all the question you gave, is that I see a difference this time, and I'm trying to be hopeful. And I'm hoping in my lifetime, I will see some major changes. Yeah. I'm hoping that this, I mean, another good 30 years probably. So I'm hoping.
We're going to be around a good long time. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, from your lips to God's ears, right? To my head, I will take it. I'm a black man, so you gotta be careful. But I'm hoping in our lifetimes we start seeing some major. Yeah. I think we are seeing some stuff, and I said I am seeing some stuff, but I'm hoping the movement just keeps continuing. It's this younger generation, Regina. They're aggressive. They're out there, and they really are. I'm impressed with many of them. I've had many of them on my shows, and I'm very impressed.
Got some staying power.
They do. And, when you're young, you can do that. So.
Right, you.
I love you, Regina. You know that very much.
I love talking with you.
Same here. And so, folks, because she's a Clear Path is her company, but the book she's trying to get people to actually help be contributors to is One Habit for Chronic Disorganization. Say that 5 times fast. You can go to her at Regina at aclearpath.net, correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Well, then I'll put it in the bio. I'll put all the links. I'll put everything in the bio so you can just follow along and get to her. Thank you so much for being on the show, my dear.
Thank you so much for letting me be on your show. I adore you. I'm gonna call you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bring over a One Habit book.
Okay. We'll do that.
All right. I love you. Bye.
Okay. And everybody out there, please stay safe, stay sane. Follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. And the Super Organizer, of course, is everywhere too on all streaming services and YouTube at JLJ Media. And I have plenty of other shows out there too you can watch. I have a million different things going on, so check those out. And my books are on Amazon. My music's all streaming services. So everyone, please take care of yourselves and stay organized.